All right, we're back here with another
Oh, no
episode.
way.
Oh, you coming back? All right, a little bit of a rocky start here, but we're it'll be smooth sailing from here on out because it's episode 8 of Paper and Plastic Live. We've got a whole lot to talk about. You may know me. You might know me as one of your hosts, Pop and Sloth over here, and I've got my trusty co-host here, Dr. Plagus, and we're really excited to kind of dive right into it and talk. Man, there's a lot of toy, a lot of toy releases, especially from McFarlane or reveals from McFarlane over the last few days. A bunch of stuff getting shown off. I don't know in the last like few hours here. I don't know if you saw that stuff, but a couple more coming out, and we're gonna be talking comics. Obviously, a lot of comics. So we'll just dive right into it. Looks like we've got our good friend Zim Man.
Hey,
What's up?
Zim.
We are.
I see
Did you?
Sam checked in.
Yeah,
It looks like maybe half hour before the show.
yeah.
So
Uh,
hey Sam, if you're here.
he's always eager to join us. And do you want to start with McFarlane reveals, or do you want to show off a couple of things you got over the last few days? Because I feel like you kind of got some cool stuff. It seemed like.
Um, did I?
I mean, you got that Doctor Doom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, you got the Doom.
Hey Dave. Yeah, let's just talk about it because I posted it, so most people probably already saw it. Um, and I got real sentimental there, but it's kind of like all the worlds coincide there, like through graffiti. uh I was introduced to underground hip hop, and I mean, like, literally one of the first guys I was introduced to was MF Doom, and I've been a fan ever since. So probably since about 2003, 2004. um Huge fan. And so just kind of like that opening page where Marvel prints out his lyrics, the quote. It's just kind of like for people who are familiar with his music, like, he always incorporated snippets, audio snippets from cartoons, like the old Fantastic Four cartoons. Obviously, his look was like influenced by Doctor Doom. Obviously, the dude was a huge comic and pop culture fan, um, and a lot of influence from that in his music. And so, just kind of, I mean, for Marvel to acknowledge him, a little late, but still at the same time, like, extremely cool. And I don't know if that was Marvel or if that was Hickman wrote this, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know if that was a Hickman thing, where that came from, but it's like, it's just like a massive acknowledgement of the dude. Um, so obviously a lot of hype around the book when it came out, and that Maria Wolf cover.
Stanford
Okay.
Green. Was he
Who
one of the editors, or I'm not? I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. But anyways, so the Maria Wolf 1 in 25 variant cover was like, as soon as I saw it, I knew I had to have it. And as soon as I saw it, I knew somehow, some way I had to get it remarked with Doctor Doom, or MF Doom's mask over Doctor Doom. Um I wasn't able to go to Emerald City, and I didn't find out until like a few days before that Maria Wolf was going to be there, because it wasn't on their site months back. Otherwise, I would have planned to go. But I had a buddy who was going. Shout out to Son of Union Gap, who comes in the chat occasionally, and uh, Dave's familiar with him. My buddy Mark, friend for life now. Hit him up. I knew he was going. Asked him if he could get this done for me, and yeah, I mean, everybody's seen it, but there it is again. She just absolutely killed it.
Oh my god.
Um, I mean, instantly one of my most cherished books there. So yeah, just crazy. I'm super hyped. I have not seen um at least this cover specifically someone do this.
Yeah.
So it'd be really cool if I was the first. I have seen other Doom books with this idea on it. Um, but if this was the first, that would be awesome as well.
Yeah.
Um,
I love the because it looks like he's dropping the mic. Like it's like the perfect just
so
place.
I think I'm gonna the whole graffiti thing too, and I kind of noted in there the train that I painted.
Mm,
That was like, the end of that hobby for me was kind of very soon after that. I probably only painted a handful of pieces. Um, and I kind of never looked back since. I've done a couple of drawings here and there, but I kind of like don't do any of that any of that stuff artistically anymore. But the whole story and like getting all in my feels last night as I wrote that, like, and as into this comic book hobby as I am, like I'm starting to get the itch to like get back to illustrating and doing what I do. I'll probably never paint again, or if I do, it'll be on a very rare occasion.
mm,
Um, I don't care for the process of like when I have permission to paint,
mm.
you know.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, so like I don't have a lot of interest in doing that. There's still a part of me that has a ton of interest to go out and paint trains because I love that. There's so much more to that than just the artistic process. It's the being under pressure, and unfortunately, good things don't come from that long term if you continue to do it. So that hobby is behind me, but I have been thinking about getting back to illustrating, and I think I will. Um, I think I will put a mic dropping somewhere around there.
Oh, that'd be so
Um,
good.
so a little collab with Maria Wolf because
Yeah.
I just think, yeah, once maybe it was you that pointed that out, and
Mhm.
now I can't like it's not there, but I can't like get the idea out of my mind. There needs to be a mic there.
It's
So
perfect. Yeah, just drop
yeah,
it. I double checked. The Stanford Green was the artist on for that book,
on the interiors.
the interior pages,
Yeah.
which that artwork was just incredible. Like I remember,
So
yeah, go ahead.
Dave must be saying that it was his idea to do the quote. I think he's got
Yeah.
maybe some insider info that our little show can't get. And I want to say hey to Nine Panel. Hopefully he's still in here. Um, One other thing I wanted to bring up, and I'll just get it out of the way now, was last Friday I went on my buddy Blame Fable's show.
Mm,
It's called Blame Fable and His Amazing Friends every Friday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, so 9 p.m. Eastern time.
mm,
And I was on with Fable, Eric, Nine Panel Grid, Nick from Comic Culture, S. Vaughn, and Brother Joe.
mm,
And man, they put on an awesome show. We talked about everything from the Daredevil premiere to uh, wrestling, and it was just a really good time. I was my typical awkward self.
mm,
I think it's funny when I get on with people for the first time that don't know me.
mm,
And I think they have a hard time reading me.
mm.
Like I'm awkward. I've had people say that I seemed like angry the whole time, um, or nervous, and angry not so much, nervous probably.
Mm.
Um, on our show, I feel like right at home, but um, yeah, Blame Fables. I was a little nervous. I've been watching his show for I don't know, probably over a year. Feels like a lot longer, but yeah, very cool to get on his show, and thanks to those guys for showing us a lot of love, because he's the one that shouted us out and got us like
Yeah,
20 plus subs, and yeah, good guy.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I gotta check that. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I gotta pull that up after this too.
Yeah, it was a good time. I guess since we're doing this, I'll just show off the rest of what I got. I told you about this before we went live, but here's this little art piece.
That's so dope. Do you know who the artist on that one is?
So these are like, I don't know what this is, Bambox something or other. So this it says this fan art inspired art print from our fan art collection. Yeah, I don't know. Adam MacArthur,
Oh,
maybe?
okay.
You familiar?
Nope, no idea.
Oh. Yeah, it's limited to 2200.
Oh,
Not very limited. And
okay.
then we were just talking about these last week, but let's see.
Uh-oh. I don't know. Which one is this? The red label? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, yeah. It
I
is
got Nightmaster,
Nightmaster, yeah.
and
Oh
why
nice.
not?
Holy.
So that's his
Yeah.
first appearance there. So post coming soon.
Hold on. There's a lot of things going on in the chat.
Yeah,
Josh's Comics says, I'm just popping in to say hello. I've got to be up at 4:30 a.m., so I'll catch the rewind tomorrow. Keep up the great work, guys.
sleepy boy.
Thank you very much. Nine Panel says you were great on the the Blame Fable show. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Ozzy checking in.
just saw him at the LCS like 40 minutes ago.
And even X is here to laugh at the red label with us.
Oh, and so here, I don't I don't know about the whole even more limited thing
Yeah.
because there was two of these.
Okay.
So my buddy sent me a picture and I was like, "Oh my god." Like he sent me a red label of the scarecrow and I was like, "I don't want that."
Yeah.
The live action one.
Yeah.
And then today he sent me a picture of this one and I was like, "Oh, I do need a Nightmaster."
Yeah.
So I jetted to Target cuz I didn't want to get scalped. And I get there and there was two of those on the rack. And I don't know what he's a chase to. I think it might be like a Golden Age Superman.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
There was only one of those. So this whole red platinum, normal platinum, it's super sus.
It's all over the place. Comic calls are saying thanks for hanging out with us on Friday, Doc.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun.
I guess I should show you what else you picked up this weekend.
Oh,
Because you picked up this guy.
yes.
Yep, secured.
Sick.
Absolutely. I don't know if you can really see it too well there, but yeah, that's that. I think did we figure out if this was a 1 in 25? I can't remember what we
It is a 1 in 25.
of the Red Room #1, and that's the Peach Momoko there.
Yeah. So sick.
Beautiful cover.
Mhm.
And I actually picked up one other book for you, so I'm going to show you it now because you might get a kick out of it. I don't know if you already have it, but Grendel's Space or Devil Odyssey.
No, I don't have that one.
Uh,
That's sick.
I totally thought it was Cosmic Ghost Rider when I first saw it. And so yeah, I'll throw that one in for you
It
too.
from here it looks like Cosmic Ghost Rider or Mr. Freeze.
Yeah,
It doesn't look like Grendel, that's for sure.
nope.
That's
But then
great, dude.
I read the cover and I was like, hey, you know what? There's another one for you.
There's Mark right there.
Oh yeah,
Hey Mark, we were just saying good things about you.
yep, yes, very good things. uh, I think that's kind of it. That's all. I didn't really pick up much. I've been a very poor boy the last few weeks. But so we got those books. I should say, we got them from our giveaway sponsor, who was graciously so kind to donate to us uh, this facsimile edition of Batman 251, which we're giving away next week on the show. So you have one more week, guys, to enter in to win this guy. It's not going to cost you anything. We're shipping it to you for free. All you got to do is go to our Instagram. All you got to do is just like and share a post, and you're going to be entered in to win that guy. And you got 1 week to do it. The link will be in the bio of this at some point. In this video, it's in previous videos in the links to our giveaway sponsor, and then we'll get the post up for you guys here. We'll share it again on Instagram. You guys can go like and share it again, and we'll be entered in. So I went over to her booth at my local flea market to say hello and pick up a few things. She brought in a new box of slabs that I had not seen before, and it nearly gave me a bit of a heart attack. Let's see if I can get this playing here.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this.
So it's all Last Ronins, and some really interesting covers. I don't know anything about these books, so I can't really speak too much about
Oh
what.
my god, dude, that one right there. That's a homage to the first appearance of Usagi.
Okay,
Oh, that one was so sick. Rewind that. What'd she
okay.
have on that one?
The price,
Yeah.
$4.50.
Oh, Jesus. Okay,
Hold on.
of course.
Yeah, so a bit of
I
a
gotta find a raw of that. That is so sick. Oh man.
yeah, 450 for a 9.8, and that's a Last Ronin #1. So
Yeah,
that's issue one.
makes
Uh,
sense.
I don't know anything about like how much these books are really worth, but we got a 9.9 here of that. I guess it was I can't remember if it was #1 or #2, but we even got like a signed 9.9 for
Wow.
$500. Yeah, dude, I could not believe that these were just sitting there casually
Yeah,
at
that's
like
a
my local.
lot of value there. Holy smokes.
So that's that. This is our giveaway sponsor, guys. She's got the heat.
Where
Uh,
do they get all this stuff from? Because they're just they have a comic shop or
no, they don't currently have like a location, or like they just have their e-based shop that the two of them run, and then they have the flea market. Again, a very crazy situation that they're in. So I really encourage you guys to check out their stuff on eBay, because you never know what you might find on there. I don't think any of these books specifically are uploaded on there right now. Uh, but that being said, you can message me and I'll let her know, and we can figure something out for you for sure. Like we'll get you in touch if there's something here that's you see and you want to look at it a little bit more. Uh, but yeah, I just couldn't believe that these were just sitting there, which is just wild.
yeah, Last Ronin has a crazy amount of variant covers.
uh, yeah, and these prices are all in Canadian, so they're a little bit cheaper if you're American. Uh,
Yeah,
I don't know what the exact conversion rate is right now, but yeah,
you'll pretty much pay that though after shipping. I mean, it's
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that was where they got me.
So
But
here's don't need that right now. Here's the other thing with that is she actually watched our show the other day, and she sent me a message saying, oh, where is it? It was sweet. Oh, she was saying that she does combined shipping on like the invoice. So if you're buying multiple books, like if you had 3 books in your cart, it will say $50 shipping, but when she actually invoices you, she only does like the $25 or whatever it is.
oh,
Book. Just so we know.
that's not bad then.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
Yeah, because that's where I stopped. Was like I had two big books in my cart, and then I added one more, and I saw the shipping increase, and like my book total wasn't even as much as my shipping, so that's good to know. I would have happily paid $25 shipping for what I had.
Yeah, I think she said if it was 57 Canadian, it would probably be about a third of that, so probably around $20 for the 3 books to get shipped.
Wow,
Yes.
that's not terrible.
And when I saw her, she did say that in the last few weeks, she's had 2 people from Canada among all of her other transactions. 2 people from Canada purchased from her.
Oh,
So if you guys are out there and you're watching the show and you made a purchase from her, you have to let me know because I owe you $5.
yeah, no kidding.
uh, I think it was someone from Ontario and someone from Quebec. So I think we've got some Ontario friends out there. I know. So uh, yeah. And again, last week to enter in the giveaway, we want one of you guys to have this, you know, to show us, our gratitude for you guys continuing to support us. And I mean, we're on episode 8 now, and we've been
Yeah.
at this for like 2 months. Like this is crazy. Uh,
Yeah, Fable asked me how long we'd been doing our show, and like I knew the answer, and so I said it, but in my mind I was thinking like, holy crap, we've been doing this for 7 weeks already. Now 8.
yeah, and it's just flying by.
Yeah, it is.
Samrock, I have a comic book saved on my eBay from that seller. I'm debating on buying. Well, do it, and I'll send you $5, buddy. You
The
know.
debate is over. The answer is
Yeah,
yes.
the answer is yes. And if you do it, I should mention, for every book you buy from her, so every product, we're going to be getting you an extra 5 entries per book into our giveaway. So if you're buying 1 book, you get that extra 5 entries. If you're buying 3 books, you're getting 15 entries. And then you basically won yourself a free book. So let's do it. Let's buy some books. Uh, Comic Culture says you guys will be celebrating your 1 year anniversary in no time. Aw.
So I don't know if you've ever heard, uh, and I might get this wrong, but well, I might not. I might get what it's called wrong, but it's like the comic book awards or something. But it's for like the comic book like YouTube community.
Oh, okay.
And so they have a whole bunch of categories, and
Hmm.
there's a category of like best new show, and these
Oh,
guys, Nick and Eric, Nine Panel and Nick and Comic Culture
mhm.
were hyping us up, saying, "Oh, you guys might be, in the running for best new channel," and I'm just like over here blushing.
Like that.
It'd
That'd
be
be
crazy, but
that would be crazy.
and then I wanted to say what's up to Razor Ramen. I saw him up there and fellow Dave
Yep.
Enger. So
And then Samrock was also saying, I'm going to Toronto Comic Con this weekend, so I'm waiting to see what I see there. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you're probably going to find some pretty nice stuff at an actual big city Comic Con here in Canada because we've only got like 3 of those big cities.
and I
Uh,
got my first con or comic book show of the year coming up this Saturday. Frankenstein comic book swap in Portland. So I'll be cooking up a reel for that, and we'll share that on next week's show. I did the horizontal video for my hunt a few episodes back, and it was a lot of fun. But I want to keep up the reels on Instagram, so I'm not gonna film vertical footage and horizontal. I'm just gonna do it one way, and
yeah,
we'll
let
make it
the
work.
let the editor take care of it.
Yeah.
Comic Culture saying comic book community awards, best new channel and best unknown channel are repeating categories. I'd say we're pretty qualified for probably both of those.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Uh, you want so there's been some really cool McFarlane
Yeah.
uh, reveals
I
coming
saw the
up.
one you sent to the page. Oof.
Yeah, yeah.
So sick.
Uh, I feel like the first one we gotta talk about is the Doctor Fate,
Yeah.
because I feel like we've both been waiting for a Doctor Fate for a while. Uh, and I think you were mentioning you were looking at or you had saw one of a different Doctor Fate from McFarlane?
I was looking, yeah, I was on Mercari and I was filling up a cart with some figures, and I was looking. It was a comic book version, but I
Oh,
can't remember. It was a more modern comic.
probably
So
the
he was
Injustice.
in. Oh no, yeah, Injustice. That's a video game, right?
It's a video game and a comic. Yes, yeah,
Okay, so
yes.
I was gonna settle for that, and then I just kind of changed my mind, and then literally a day later,
Mhm.
or maybe even same day, this popped up, and I was like, perfect. This is what, when I was looking at that one, it's very cool, but this is what I was wishing I was getting, you know.
Yeah,
So it's crazy that that happened, because so often we don't get what we're like, you know. We still need a Zatanna.
yeah,
I mean, the list goes on.
yeah. But
But this is, yeah, this is great. I'm so happy that we're getting some cool stuff, you know, throughout the rest of the year.
and this is such like an iconic, such a simple and clean, like I don't know. Sometimes the McFarlane figures they go simple, and I feel like sometimes it doesn't really always land, and then
Yeah.
sometimes they go too complicated, and then it's like it doesn't really land either.
Yep.
This just found that perfect, just simple, recognizable, great colors, uh, and the wired cape looks like it's just going to be so much fun with this character too. So I just, oof.
The pairing I think of when I see this is that very famous Todd cover. The issue's slipping my mind. I think it's like issue 47 of maybe a Justice Society book.
Mm, I,
Um, but he's, you know, kind of like got his arms out like he's on on a cross type of
oh
situation.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Somebody will call it out in the chat.
yeah. Please. Uh, and then the Two Face, more comic accurate Two Face, has kind of
Yeah.
been going around. Uh, you know, I feel like it's about time to kind of expand some of the more classic Batman villains for sure.
Yep. I
Uh,
need that one.
the Batman 1 million. I,
Yeah, the 1 millionth Batman that they've made.
it is a
Good
1 million
Lord.
Batman, but I just like the color on this guy. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's cool. I'm
I,
just hating.
he's just well. Speaking of course, you had the Batman Justice Lords one coming out too, uh, which I'm pretty indifferent on this one, but the 1 million one I like. I like that. And the big one for me actually was is the Berserker figure that they
Whoa.
revealed. Did you see
Yeah,
this one?
I did not. No.
Yeah. So we're getting a Berserker. Uh, what's wild about it is he's going to come with like three different faceplates, which get more and more brutalized. Like torn up arms. He's going to have like a torn up chest, which you can put like a cover over, and he's going to come with a bunch of guns, and it's like that's a that's a lot of accessories. So I'm
Yep.
happy to see that for McFarlane. Uh,
And it's not a toy.
it's not a toy, definitely not a toy. This one, uh,
Yeah,
unless
that's awesome.
it should be a Walmart exclusive. So I I probably won't see it. Uh, and then the stuff from today, we got a new
Oh, cool.
another Jim Carrey Riddler.
Yeah.
That's Jim Carrey. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's Jim Carrey. Yeah, yeah. He looks really goofy though. I'll be honest. He looks pretty. I mean, that's the point, I guess. But
Yeah.
uh, this one, I'm really intrigued by the Grim Knight Batman with a Killer Croc
Yeah.
uh, 2 pack. I missed out on the Grim Knight. I remember seeing it in stores and thinking, I'll get there one day. Also, Daniel Osborne coming in clutch. All Star Squadron 47.
Yep.
There we go.
Thanks, Ozzy.
Someone knows what they're talking about.
I
Uh,
had the number right.
yeah,
I kind of knew Justice Society was wrong, but yeah.
we got there. We got there. Uh, but yeah, I was because the Grim Knight and like the Batman Who Laughs wave of like all of those, the Devastator and like
Yeah.
Red Death and everything, they came out right as I started collecting these figures. And the Grim Knight was just one I remember seeing. I was like, I'll get it eventually, and then just never saw it again. Uh,
That's every time.
every time. So
Yeah.
I might grab this one just to finally finish that line of the Batman Who Laughs and the Dark Knight's uh, lineup, I guess. But
Yeah. Yeah, that's
uh,
sick.
Samrock is in the same boat. I missed out on the first Grim Knight figure. I'm happy they're releasing it, even if it's in a 2-pack. Yeah, it's just going to be a nice one to have in the set. Uh, and then I think we've seen the Jim Gordon, but it's going to be in a year one Batman as well, which is actually, I think, is a really clean, modern looking Batman.
Yeah. I need that one. I need the Batman with just the black logo, and I love that Jim Gordon. So is one of those a chase and one of them's a common,
I am
or
not.
is it a 2-pack?
Well, all it says here is DC Multiverse Batman Year One and Jim Gordon coming exclusively to Walmart. So it might be a 2-pack.
Hmm.
Yeah. Uh, it's just funny because that's the body they used for the Constantine figure from a couple of years ago. Uh, just a little bit recolored. There's a little Batman versus Superman Alfred, which hopefully people buy. I don't know. That might be one.
That's a peg warmer.
Yeah. Uh, and then there's
Unfortunately.
a cowboy Batman
Jeez.
with like, it looks like so the body for this one is the Jonah Hex that came out earlier. And then it looks like the jacket is the similar to the Captain Boomerang one.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's not like super clunky, but it kind of looks like it's going to be.
Yeah. Jeez.
Samrock says, I have a feeling this Alfred is going to come with a vehicle because all the other ones have.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. Oh, that'd be cool though for because the Batman versus Superman Batmobile was pretty cool, wasn't it? If I remember correctly. Uh, I think that's kind of a sped run through those McFarlane reveals, but there was
Did we share the Supergirl last week?
we did, but that let's circle back to that because that's a good
Okay.
point.
Oh, did I just blow it?
No, because I kind of forgot for a second there
Okay.
because when we were looking at the footage of the McFarlane at Toy Fair, I don't know if you recall, but the Supergirl was very metallic looking.
Oh,
She had like very golden metallic looking hair, and I know we kind of commented on it a little bit.
yeah.
Uh, so this that must have been a platinum edition of
Uh,
some sort.
I'd rather have that one there.
The more common kind of non as flashy
Sure.
looking one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I was worried that was going to be like an exclusive one or something because of the shininess to it. So I'm happy to see that the common one
Makes sense.
isn't like a huge difference between the few.
I like this whole the platinum edition being a different character. Like with this
Mhm.
Nightmaster, the common is the Golden Age Superman.
Yeah.
That's a really cool concept. I feel like the just changing the color is kind of, it's like kind of lazy, so but it is what it is.
No, I agree. It is a little bit lazy.
I mean, sometimes they do a totally different costume or a different version of the
Mhm.
same character, and I'm not complaining about that, but like just changing her from regular flat colors to metallic, that's a pretty lazy platinum edition.
Speaking of that, here's the platinum edition for that Doctor Fate as well,
Oh wow.
which again I feel like does the recolor justice because it kind of feels like a different era of Doctor Fate, which I can appreciate.
Yeah.
So it's going to
Can
be.
you zoom on that one?
I wish I could. I'm gonna try to. No, it's just making it. Oh,
I'll find it after the show. Oh, that's
oh,
yeah.
there. Is that kind of better?
There we go. Yeah,
That's better.
definitely. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So yeah, that will be the Doctor Fate Platinum Edition. And actually, I like that it's the Justice League America logo down there in the corner.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
that's a new addition.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, that's where we're at with McFarlane's, especially some
Enjoy
of the.
them while we have them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or did we talk about the Rat City one? I don't know if we talked about this one last week.
No, I do. We did a little bit, and I'm so excited for this.
Yeah. This
I'm not current on the series, but I've really enjoyed it up until where I am.
again, just this was another one of those figures where they could have over designed it and it could have looked clunky and like not quite, clean. But I
Yeah.
think they did a really good job designing this character.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh, I feel like that's just a big concern of mine these days is some of these more affordable figures becoming too ambitious and then just looking, just not quite right.
Yeah. Not hitting the mark.
Uh, haven't read the story, but Rat City Spawn looks cool. Gosh, I think I'm in. I want to say I'm at least read the first 5 issues for sure.
Yeah. I
Uh,
wasn't the first couple of issues, I wasn't completely sold.
mhm,
1 second.
mhm.
Um, but it definitely picked up after the second issue.
Yeah,
You
and
got to get through that beginning, and you should enjoy it. I would think.
yeah, it's just like setting up the character, kind of like
Yeah,
giving you more backstory than. But
and it felt very cliche, like a story you've already heard over and over.
yeah,
But then it progresses after that for sure.
yeah, does some cool stuff within the Spawn universe, and at that point it starts to feel kind of refreshing, which is kind of weird, but yeah, I say check it out for sure if you can.
Yeah.
Uh, oh man, oh no, I just closed something I wasn't supposed to. Ah, well, we'll get back to it. So I think we wanted to talk indie comics a little bit. I don't know about you, but I've been like on a big indie kick lately, and I feel like it's all now coming together with Invincible. Are you are you keeping up with Invincible right now? No, okay.
No, I've never read it or watched it.
You never
um,
watched the show?
no, no. It's one of those things where I'd kind of like to read it first and then watch the show. And I
Okay.
do have a couple of volumes of Invincible, so I should probably get that going.
So I haven't read the comics in its entirety. I've read, yeah, like the first 50 or so.
Yeah,
Uh, but I will say the show is just a masterclass in adaptating that story that sometimes felt a little disconnected
uh-huh.
and just like cutting it down to exactly what it needs to be and making stories fit together better. It's a great show. I'd say you could read the comic first and then watch it, or watch the show first and then read the comic. And I think either way, you really start to appreciate both of them
Yeah,
in a good, effective way. But it because of that show, it got me thinking, like, man, it'd be really cool to see more indie comics being adapted. And then I was thinking, oh, what would be some like fun, indie comics? Uh, and did you read 8 Billion Genies?
I didn't. No, I was flirting with the idea of picking up all the issues, but I think I wasn't able to gather them all, so I kind of gave up on that. But that's been a big recommendation from you for a long time. So
Yeah. Do you kind of know the general premise of it?
a little bit, yeah. And actually, my interest was sparked again today because I on the way home I stopped at at the comic shop and I found issue number one of Lucky Devils, and of course they
Mm,
advertised the same writers as 8 Billion Genies, and that kind of reminded me of that. And what's funny is a little side note. It
mm.
was I don't know if did you get Lucky Devils?
I have it. I just haven't read it yet.
So the issue number one that I found was the Frank Miller cover, which is the devil characters kind of complement his style of art right now. Like
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was Frank Miller right away.
Yeah.
And then once I did, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's totally Frank Miller." You
Yeah.
know. Um but it works. It like that style worked for these characters. Yeah.
You are totally right. It is one of the least abrasive
Yeah.
Frank Miller covers. Uh, yeah. It. You know what's funny is I always like to grab B covers when I can. I just like a variant.
Yeah.
And then for the most part, I won't care who the artist is. There's a handful. Uh, but yeah, I remember grabbing this one and looking at it and be like, I this works, but I just don't really like it. But it's not the worst thing I've seen. And I was like, I'll just grab the A cover.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it is definitely the least.
So I didn't end up picking it up. I didn't collect the series. I think maybe Nick or Eric, uh, 9 Panel, and Nick from Comic Culture. One of them was talking about it recently, so hopefully I can get the trade paperback of it because I saw that a lot of the issues have already come out. So
I think,
or I'll order it online.
yeah, I think it's only on issue 2 right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw the issue one came out in January, and the one that I found that it was the only issue they had, and it with that black cover. It had a bunch of spine ticks. It kind of been through the ringer, so I was like, I'll track it down somewhere else. But I do want to read that, and I need to read 8 Billion Genies as well.
I I think we're just in a golden age of indie books. Personally, that's like I in my head. There's two categories of indie books. There's like the ones that it's like that weird, like sexy, spooky horror adventure books. You know the ones I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
Uh, and then there's the stuff from like Image and Ghost Machine and even Distillery, and they're just like really interesting stories. They're
yeah,
really refreshing. 8 Billion Genies was just one of the first ones that came to my mind, just because like it's not a comic book superhero kind of story. It's but it still is very wondrous and fantastical, and like kind of has that same like a motivation as a superhero story.
yeah,
Uh, so I just thought, man, it would be really cool to see that one specifically adapted. And for those who don't know what 8 Billion Genies is about, it's about the world. Everyone gets a genie, so everyone can make a wish, and the story takes place over the course of, I think, up to like almost 100 years or something after. So like each issue takes place at a different point, uh, and it's just a really interesting kind of look at, what would the world become if everyone could make a wish, right? So it's a really interesting book. If you guys ever get the chance to check it out, I'd really recommend it. Charles Soules, known for doing some really
uh,
cool stuff with Star Wars. Uh, so yeah, great writer, great little story there. And I feel like it was a popular one. I feel like it wasn't like a super niche. I think issue 1 was really popular from what I remember.
yeah. It's weird. Sometimes these books come out and they don't feel indie at all. Like World Tree was huge when that came out, you know, and rightfully so. Avoid Rivals, I think most people would have that at the top of their list. Um, So it's just, yeah, it's a really interesting time for indies. Um,
I
I-
love that you brought up World Tree because you're right. That is such a, a strange but really well crafted book.
oh yeah, yeah, I love it. Geiger and all of that stuff. It that stuff doesn't feel indie at all. That stuff feels super mainstream, and I mean, to a degree, it is. I think I've even heard the Image is like surpassed DC, and I might be wrong about that, but I've definitely heard people say that. Um, but I don't. Can we even call Image indie anymore? At this point, it's
Well,
just kind of, I don't know.
that's why again I was when as Invincible's coming out, I was thinking about that. I was like, man, how are the indie stories being adapted into TV shows so much better?
Oh yeah,
Like, I mean, we could look at Invincible for, I mean, example A. We could look at The Boys for example B, uh, and then we could ignore all the rest of them. But like, The Boys is another incredible indie story that's been
yeah,
adapted to a, a hit show. Uh, that feels like
yeah.
Marvel and
That's an
DC,
interesting question.
and it makes me wonder: is it because it's not like something that everyone's familiar with, so it's refreshing, or is it just better?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that's a factor. I also wonder if maybe because it's indie, when what's it called? They option it.
Mhm.
They make sure that the writers and creators of the story have
Mm,
more input, as say, like, Jim Starlin famously says he didn't get much for all of that, Infinity War and Endgame and all of that stuff. That, Thanos, he created Thanos.
yeah.
And sure, he gets to go to all these cons and kind of bank on that, which is great. But as from what I hear, like, he didn't get a whole lot as far as royalties, if any at all.
Mhm.
So I wonder if maybe these indie creators have learned a thing from that and maybe made sure that in contracts or whatever that they're, a bigger part of this, which, I think would ultimately result in a much better product. Um, because they have people who are in tune with these characters and how things need to, come across.
They know what's important to the story and what makes it beloved, if you will.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
Razor Ramon,
I definitely agree with Razor here.
yeah, not considering Image Indie at all, they are one of the largest publishers. And I mean, how often are we talking about Spawn here, right? Like,
Yeah. I
uh,
mean, yeah, millions of copies sold,
yeah,
printed and sold.
well,
Um,
yeah,
but at the same time, you don't want to. They're on the borderline there. You don't want to discredit them because of how Image was created, and who created it. It's definitely, I don't
it
know. They're
it
like your
deserves
favorite
respect.
band that
Yeah,
you listen to before they had a platinum hit.
yeah,
You kind of it's kind of like that situation.
yeah.
Um,
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, they as a company like redefine the comic sphere. I think,
yeah,
giving creators an opportunity to do some crazy stuff. And I mean, we
and
talk image. Yeah, go
also
ahead.
too. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna be like, Dark Horse has been there forever too, right? Like,
Well, and that's the thing. I would definitely consider them an indie publisher. They don't do, they're not doing a ton of stuff. They're definitely doing a lot less than maybe even IDW. I'm not sure. But at the same time, they've got some rights currently to Star Wars. So it's like, it doesn't get a whole lot more mainstream than that. So it's like, but then they're doing. Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top, but they're probably doing a major, something you've never even heard of, total indie comic. It's just it's a weird thing.
Well, I mean, again, like Image has Transformers and GI Joe, and who has is it Dark Horse who has Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles right now,
Um,
or
it's not still IDW.
is it still IDW? I can't remember.
I think so.
Some of it, yeah. I feel like I thought I remember it getting changed hands, but then I can't. I just can't keep up with the Razor Ramon though, being our little fact checker.
Yeah.
Uh, IDW still has Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I would have said like in the 90s when Dark Horse had Star Wars, I would have gosh, I would have said back then that Star Wars could be indie because all we had were the three movies, and it was a big it was a big thing. But what they were doing with Star Wars back then was totally off in their own direction. So I would have maybe said back then. Now not so much. I mean, they're doing the what's the new series? I just read it. The Jedi
Oh, here I
Jedi
got.
Knights or whatever.
I think I'm. Oh wait, no, that's not it. Oh, is it not the one? Oh yeah, Jedi Knights. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Jedi. Yeah. So, I
Oh yeah.
mean, that's not. There's nothing indie about that. They're totally just continuing. I mean, new stories, but it's all the Jedi's we know doing the same old thing. The story at the end kind of looks like there's going to be some base around Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. Characters we already know, uh, characters we've had plenty of stories from. It was a good read, but again, I'd love them if they could to start doing some of these stories, like when they had the rights to Star Wars in the 90s, like just totally branch off, all new characters, all new storylines. Let's get away from this Skywalker bullshit.
Yep.
But maybe that's not going to sell these days. They got to
Yeah.
keep the lights on.
I like like even just the idea of them doing darker and grittier, kind of like out there stories, just always seemed more appealing for Star Wars, anyways. But I
Yeah,
just
totally.
sorry, I was just going through my little because I had that Star Wars book here because I was going to mention I picked it up, and then the other one right next to it was I don't know if you guys can see it very well here,
Ooh,
but it's this creepy looking like bird demon thing playing
yeah.
playing the fiddle. Uh, and I don't know if you remember that Peach Momoko that came out quite a while ago for a series called Hello Darkness.
Yeah.
That's this.
Oh, wow.
So this is like issue 8 or something. Uh, and I just saw that cover artwork and I was like, I gotta pick that up. That's just too friggin' weird to not have in the collection.
Yeah.
Side note though, but it's another indie book for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess more than anything, indie or not, like I just crave something new. Like World Tree is a great example. I mean, that's just like a totally new story. It doesn't remind me of anything that I've read previously. All new characters, just all of that. And same thing with 8 Billion Genies. I haven't read it, but from what you tell me, it sounds totally one of a kind, unique. So, I don't know if I would maybe just consider stories like that indie. Yeah, it's tough.
So, did you ever hear about the story called The Many Deaths of Layla Starr from Boom Studios?
Sounds familiar.
It was written by Ram V. Uh, and here's the main cover for number 1.
Okay.
This was
Yeah, I've seen that.
one of the first indie books I think I ever picked up, and I picked it up on a whim because there was this cover, which was a
Oh,
foil. I had no idea who David Mack was, but obviously, even just seeing it as a newbie in the comic world, I was like, I'm having that. I'll take one of
yeah.
those, please. Uh, and so, and again, this was like like the very beginning of going to my local comic book shop to pick up books, and then seeing this sitting there. And what year? When did this come out? April 21st of 2001. And this just it stuck with me on a special level of all the indie books I've read, of all the comics I've read. Just such a special story, and it's about basically the goddess of death realizing what it's like to be alive,
Wow.
and 9 panel. The Many Deaths of Layla Starr was brilliant. It was so close to being my favorite series of the year. It was released. Uh,
Between you and these guys, 9 panel and Nick from Comic Culture, between you and them, like you guys give me so much FOMO when it comes to indie books because like I tell you, I don't have I mean, I can go online and buy any of this stuff. I just love that in person, getting stuff.
yeah,
And like I've told you so many times, like I just don't have the access to these books. And there's steps I could take, like going through the previews, going through the pre-order stuff. Um, but I'd love to just show up at my LCS and they're there, and I can just grab them, and I totally would.
yeah.
But we just don't get them like that. But uh, one of my favorite types of videos to watch on the Cartoonist Kayfabe channel
Mhm.
is when Jim Rugg and Ed Piskor would hit the 50 cent and 25 cent bins.
Mm,
And, you know, like any of those bins across the country, there's going to be a ton of 80s and 90s weird indie stuff in those
mhm.
bins, the stuff that can't sell um, because nobody knows what it is. And those guys famously say, like, if it looks cool, grab it. Why wouldn't you? It's 50 cents, it's 25 cents. And so what they would do is they'd go to these sales and they'd fill short boxes of just books you've never heard of, never seen before,
Mm,
and they'll bring them back to their studio and they'll do flip throughs of the books and like yeah, sometimes the books are total flops. They look cool on the cover, you open them up and they're just like garbage.
yeah.
But other times like you come across these gems and that's kind of like when it comes to indie comics, I'm all about that. Like if I can hit a 50 cent bin sale, I'm filling a short box and I'm grabbing all of the weirdest stuff I can find from anime to, you name it.
Yeah.
And man, I've hit some really cool books and even some like high value books that just maybe weren't as popular. So the person put them in their bins. That's where I found like 12 copies of the first appearance of Stanley Ipkiss mask. So like the mask as we knew him from the movie.
Yeah.
And that was like, a $50 to $100 book depending on the condition. And at the time that came out, that was totally. I mean, it still would be considered an indie comic.
Mm,
Um, and it's just like the first appearance of Usagi. It was in a book called Albedo, which was kind of just a collection of stories from various artists. And at the time, it was a nothing character. And I'm sure for a long time that book sat in dollar bins, and now I can't afford it. It's thousands of dollars. In high grade, it's more valuable than a Hulk 181. So yeah, it's a really cool thing, and I love picking up. I'm gonna pick up a lot of those types of books this weekend at that comic swap.
you better. It just reminds me because I know it's not like a high value book, but I found like issue one of Do a Power Bomb, the B
Oh
cover
man,
in a dollar bin not too long ago, and I was like, easy. Like this is a series I always wanted to pick up and support, anyways.
Oh yeah,
And so I was pleased. But it's funny,
yeah.
yeah. Sometimes you'll find stuff that came out like a year ago, 2 years ago.
It's
Uh,
and the the indie stuff, or whatever, the new stories, or the stories, the breakaway from your typical DC, Marvel superhero stuff. It's so refreshing.
yeah.
Like, obviously majority of what I get is that stuff. It's what I'm familiar with. But sometimes I'll read through so much of that stuff, and I'll hit, one of these indie books, and it's just like, oh man, like, this is so much better than all that other crap I just read. Like, you know.
So Zim Man said, being new to the comic community, about 2 years in now, I am about to ask a dumb question, so just giving y'all heads up. There's no dumb questions here.
No, not at all.
That's why we're here, is so everyone can learn a little bit, laugh a little bit, and it's all part of the process. So Zimman asks, what makes a comic an indie comic? What does indie mean? Is it an acronym or something? So indie, yeah, it's more or less short for independent. So when we look at something like Image Comics, for example, Image Comics is, from my understanding, more or less creator run. So basically, anyone can submit to Image Comics. Me and Doc could write and illustrate a comic book, and we could send it to Image Comics, and if they like what they see, they'll publish it. So it basically just means an independent comic. So creators come with their own ideas, and more or less, it's kind of anything that's not Marvel or DC at this point. Uh, Even though Marvel and DC also print books that you may consider indie. A Nice House on the Lake from DC is a really good example of something that has nothing to do with anything DC,
Yeah.
but it's published by DC for some reason.
Watchmen.
Watchmen is another one that sits under that kind of weird area. Spawn is kind of a weird one where it's like if it should just be in a class of its own. Uh, but I'd consider it an indie still, even though it's almost 400 issues in and has 7 different spin-off series at any given moment. So yeah, it's kind of just anything that's outside of Marvel and DC that's independently created. Yeah, hope that kind of answers the question. Uh,
Yeah, and I would say Zim too, give some of those, maybe the titles that you see that aren't, what you're used to, give them a chance, cuz that stuff is really like what keeps me buying new books, honestly. Cuz otherwise I'd just be buying, the older stuff and continuing to educate myself on the endless library of old stuff.
and if you're ever just looking for an indie book that the easiest way I think to do it, for at least for me personally, is when I recognize certain writers or artists who are working on a book. Uh, when I saw the team behind The Moon Is Following Us, no idea what the book was about, but saw that it had Daniel Warren Johnson and Riley Rosmo, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm jumping in. Like, I
Yeah,
say no
you're
more.
not going to go wrong with Daniel Warren Johnson, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a and the same thing when I see someone like Ram V or Scott Snyder, like any of those guys working on an indie book, it's almost like a no-brainer. Check it out.
Yeah.
Pick up an issue one. Um, that's like the easy way to get your foot in the door when it comes to indie books, because a lot of the guys who do Marvel and DC love having those passion projects too. So yeah, definitely check it out. Uh, we should talk sponsors here really quick too, huh?
Yeah.
Since
Good idea.
we're at that hour mark here, so I will. Do you want? Let's do. Do you want to do? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking so hard.
Imperial. Yeah.
Imperial. Yeah, let's do Imperial first this time.
And he hit me up today and said he'd like to come on the show at some point. So
Yes.
yeah, let's chat about that. That would be a good time. Yeah, so uh Imperial Comics. What what could I say about them that I haven't already? He went to a big new con this weekend over in New York, Elite Comics Con or something of that nature. And got a whole bunch of new inventory. And this might be some of it. And this is his current story claims.
As of 23 hours ago,
Oh
yes.
man, dude, first appearance of Deathlock right there. Yeah, I mean the guy's inventory is unmatched. Just incredible stuff, and always it's always refreshing. Every night he's posting story claims. It's something different from the night before or even the week before. Um, Definitely give him a follow on Instagram. Keep your eyes on his stories and claim those books if you want them. Look at that. Oh, Iron Man #1 for a whole lot of money. Yeah, wow. That's cool. I haven't seen these, so that's
these are
exciting.
these are as of 57 minutes ago, so we would have
Yeah,
still been in the show when these were getting posted.
yeah. Great seller, for Silk. Um, Super legit too. He's got a website that he invoices you from. You can pile up books. I right now I'm kind of like every month, I'll claim throughout the week. He keeps track of what I'm claiming, and at the end of the month, I'm cashing out and getting just a huge order of books from him. I showed that off last week.
Mhm.
Um, he's got a website. If you're looking to fill those runs, he's got it all categorized. You can go in there, find all the issues you need to complete your run. So definitely check that out. Um, and yeah, I just honestly one of the best sellers I've dealt with as far as Instagram and online goes. And just a good guy that believes in what we're doing here, whatever it is. And wants to invest in us. And so yeah, I mean,
and and
same here. I want to buy books from him, and I would be whether he sponsored us or not. I think I've been buying from him for at least a couple of years now. So yeah,
and
definitely give him a follow and hit all his links. Oh, that's a great one. First appearance of Blade outside of Tomb of Dracula, I think.
oh yeah, and like every time we talk about Imperial here, like it not only is like the collection of books just like I mean like look this Moon Knight for
Yeah.
$25, like come on.
Yeah, and again, oh, we're going through the stories here, and you're seeing some pretty big numbers, and so maybe these books are out of your budget. Still follow him. At least once or twice a week, he'll do live sales on Instagram, and it's nothing but $5 bins, and you can get. I mean, you can get some really good stuff out of those bins. Also, I think he has a secondary page where he posts nothing but $5 stuff as well. I think it's like Imperial Comics #2 or something along those lines. Follow his main page here. You'll find links to all of that stuff. And, if some of these books are a little too pricey and out of your budget, he still has other stuff that's more affordable. And like I said, you can pile up and he's got all the pay options, PayPal, paying for stuff like that. I'll stack up like $500 worth of books, and I'll do the paying for option, so I don't have to pay that all at once. I pay it over time. So yeah, great seller, great guy. We love him.
And dare I say, like even like I mean a Miss Marvel #1 for $40 from 1971.
Yeah, great
Like
key book.
these are still good. That's a great cover.
Yeah,
Uh I mean, come on, a Moon Knight #1 for $65, like that's gotta be for $60. Come on. Come
yeah, and what's
on.
awesome is he's got the kind of the grade there. That's
Yep.
near mint, very fine. I'm not sure
Yep.
if I'm reading those correctly.
you're good enough. Yeah. But these are still good prices for some. And I appreciate that he's got the range. Like here's this book for $90, and then what we just saw it again for 65.
Yeah. So he's
So yes,
pricing based off of grade too,
yeah.
and he tends to have some of the better pricing I've seen from sellers on Instagram. That's why I buy from him. So
Oh yeah. That's the thing is, if you got a good price, I'm gonna keep coming back. 20
yeah,
easy, easy $20. Uh, yeah, and cannot stress enough that him being one of our sponsors is probably 98% of the reason we're even talking to you right now. Uh,
yeah,
is he's just such an integral part of the show, keeping
yeah.
the lights on. So we just
Super
can't.
genuine too. Like for years I've supported his his selling, but like when I do my claims on my page, and I totally stole his recipe with the story claims. 100% that idea came from how he sells.
Yeah.
And like last night I ran a sale, and if I wasn't even done posting books and he was claiming my stuff. So like, build a relationship with the guy, and if you sell or if you have a show, like, good chances he'll support you. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Does good business.
I love it. Uh, and then we'll talk about our other sponsor, who is our giveaway sponsor.
And I want to
Um,
say hi to Rev real quick because
oh
he
yeah,
popped in there.
yeah, Reverend Wormwood saying was up. Uh, and so yeah, our giveaway sponsor does their business under the eBay username andho9743, but they are a lovely couple, Andrew and Andy, and Angie, and they have this eBay shop that they run, where they have a lot of really interesting exclusives, a lot of modern stuff, a lot of really cool kind of limited and graded stuff that for Canadians, by gosh golly, it's almost impossible to find sometimes. Uh, and for like really, really reasonable prices, dare I say, just some of the best prices I've seen anywhere in Canada for sure. Uh,
Yeah,
and every time we scroll through here, I feel like I see something that I'm like, oh man, like I gotta, I gotta grab this next time I see her, or like just something I wouldn't expect to find. Uh, like I don't know, I'm a big fan of these hip hop covers. I
oh
don't
yeah,
know if you have too many of those guys, but
not enough.
not enough. And that's a great one too for $25. Uh, Canadian pricing, very reasonable. Of course, you got to pay a little bit of shipping, but if you grab a couple books, the shipping cost will go down. And like
Yeah, great pricing. I feel like that 1 in 25 Momoko, what did that run me? $10?
it was $30, my friend.
Oh, never mind. Well, I still feel like that's a great price. I
Well,
mean,
and
it's peach on a total. You want to talk about indie comics? That totally was an independent comic. So
yeah,
yeah.
and I don't know if you guys can really even see it. Well, maybe I'll try to show it off a bit on my background. But here, every comic I've got on my back wall here now is something I've picked up from her. Uh, and again, super reasonable pricing. Some of my favorite books that I've gotten in my collection in recent years has come from her.
Oh,
And
she's totally leveled up your
yeah,
collection like crazy.
yeah. Oh man, I feel like
I used to be that. She stole that from me.
yeah. She just oh my gosh, just yeah. It's almost like when I try to think of the nice things to say about her, I can't because there's just too many nice things. Because A, she's a fantastic person, and B, just just being able to like even look through these books on her eBay and be like, oh man, like these are all really reasonable, like obtainable books. And there's some like really nice options for again, like if you got a little bit of change to throw around and it's something that you've been hunting for, like they're not unreasonable prices by any means.
Yeah.
And one of the books that she said got sold was actually one of the books we were looking at one of the first times we were talking about her, which was some of the Art Germ Invisible Woman Fantastic Four covers, or was it?
Okay.
And those sold
Oh,
out.
that's crazy. Who
Uh,
was that?
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking because it was one of the books we were looking at on our show.
Maybe
Uh,
it was a viewer that doesn't engage. I don't know. That's
Maybe,
crazy.
but if you bought those books, let me know. We want to get you entered into our giveaway that she's so kindly provided for us. But
Yeah.
I really like that she does like these bundles of like you get the Virgin and the trade cover for $40.
Yeah.
Because again, as a Canadian, like you can't. These are just really difficult to find.
Yeah.
A lot of those American shops that have these exclusives just don't ship them at a reasonable price to Canada. Um, so yeah, I can't say enough good things about her shop. So please go check it out. You will have the links in the description. You can scroll through. Maybe buy a bundle of Scotty Young covers here for $45 for honestly some pretty nice Scotties. Uh, yeah, man. I live in a city where I feel like the comic community is a little spread thin, and I can only have a couple places to feel like I can engage and spend my money, and I feel good about spending my money in these places. And she's one of them. And like I might just go buy this book from her next weekend or the following weekend. Next time payday comes around, like I'm probably gonna go pick up this book specifically.
Yeah.
A 1 in 50 of one of my favorite indie books, $20.
Did you tell her that the Red Room or the books
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
got were for me? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I told her, and then that's when she was like, "Oh, just so you know, like the shipping is, not as bad." But uh, yeah, and I was thinking, but yeah, she watches our show, and it makes me so happy
Yeah.
that she watches it, and she messaged me being like, "Thank you for all the kind words." But
On that topic, I celebrated my birthday with my family
mm,
last night, and my brother, he's 23.
mm,
Gosh, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, Kenny. Uh, he- but he lives in Portland, and he traveled over. I joked that at the end of the night that I was like, I'm gonna pretend like you came for my birthday, and he was like, no, actually, I did. So he totally traveled, almost 4 hours here to town uh, to hang out with me for my birthday, and we got to talking about the show, and
mm,
he was telling me that he watches,
yeah,
which I didn't know. And he was telling me how much he liked the show and how much it makes him want to get into collecting and reading comic books. So he collects Pokemon
mm.
cards. So he's already kind of like, dipping his toes into another rabbit hole. So yeah, that was cool to hear. Um, and yeah, so
So I said my books fall in the background there.
oh
Um,
wow,
it happens. It's being held by duct tape and dreams. Uh,
yeah,
but yeah, again, you guys get a chance to check out their shop. Their links will be in the description. I might not have them in the description of this video just yet because we ran a little bit. Today's show snuck up on us a little bit this
yeah,
week. Uh, but yeah, their link will be in the description once this video is rewatchable. But otherwise, Antho 9743 on eBay, and like I said, they are the reason we're able to give away this Batman facsimile uh, of Batman 251 with the iconic Neil Adams cover here. Um, a great display piece to have in the collection. If you've never had a graded book, We want you to have a graded book. So
And
please,
the reality is, that's probably the only way you're gonna own a 9.8 in that book.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
if there are 9.8s of that book that's not a facsimile, they're probably worth six figures.
Oh, easily. Actually, don't know. I can't keep up with the price on those books anymore. But
Probably five, but still
yeah. So
unattainable.
yeah, and I know I'm gonna pull up our our post here on Instagram, so you guys know which one you need to go. You need to like it. You need to share it. Really simple. Nothing too complicated. It's this post right here from February 19th. And like I said, all you got to do is have a Canadian or American address, be subscribed to our YouTube channel. And if you guys use the hashtag #GimmeBatman during our live show, you'll get a bonus 2 entries. So if you're watching right now and you're already entered in, just throw hashtag #GimmeBatman uh, in the chat here, and you're gonna get a couple bonus entries. And then as well, like I mentioned earlier, if you purchase a product, any product from our giveaway sponsor, you're gonna get a bonus 5 entries. So if you got something in your cart and you're thinking, hey, you don't know if you should or not, just pick it up, hit checkout, purchase it, get it shipped to your door, and you're gonna get 5 bonus entries, and you're gonna get $5 from me or Doc, depending on which country you live in. And this ends March 18th. That's like 1 week away from today.
Yep.
So
Next show.
next show we're giving away a graded book, and we want you to have it. So make sure you guys go enter. And yeah, thank you for watching and supporting, and thank you for our sponsors for keeping the lights on.
Definitely.
I can't remember. I feel like we talked a good bit about indie comics there. We're at an hour and 20 minutes here, so we got a little bit of wiggle room here at the end.
Sure.
Is anything specific you wanted to chat about?
Gosh, was there anything else?
I mean, like, do you have your shake review
Ah, yes.
fired up and ready to go?
Yeah, so let's see here. What was it? Issue. So I did my random shake.
Yes.
Do you have the video? Did I even send it to you?
I don't know if you sent me a video for the
Okay,
shake.
well, that's funny because I discovered something.
Okay.
I didn't know if I'd sent you the video, but I
Yeah.
found the video.
Yeah.
I'd already read the book,
Okay.
and the random shake turned up New Mutants Volume 1 issue 24.
Okay.
For whatever reason, the issue I pulled and read was New Mutants Volume 1 issue 25. So I didn't do it right. But anyways, I read issue 25,
Yeah.
and man, if any of you have ever read that first New Mutants run, I mean, it's pretty out there. And I really wanted to read the issue again to kind of give it a proper review. Um, but it was fun. It's really funny when you read books like that. I
Mhm.
know Rev has. You really get a feel for the time of when they were written, and so I think this probably would have been uh oh, side note, I see Son of Union Gap here. We're having in our town right now, there's Alex Ross exhibit, and so they're showing a whole bunch of his original art. I haven't gone to it yet, but it's here for like at least a month, maybe longer. So I will check that out. I should actually take some video of that for the show. So that'll be coming soon if they'll
Please.
let me.
Yeah, please do that.
Yeah. Totally forgot about that. Anyways, let's
This
get
one.
back to yeah. So that's the issue I read. That is not the issue that I got in my random shake. I was one issue off. Dyslexia. It's real. Uh, um. Anyways, it's funny. It's funny when you read this stuff and you can actually like get a feel for the time. I want to say this was like early 80s, like maybe 82 to 84. So in this issue, Cloak and Dagger have actually lost their powers. And
Oh,
so they're kind of trying to return back to their normal life. Um, and so they're a couple. And uh, they're really like from totally different places. Like uh, Dagger is from like she grew up in the church,
mm,
like a little goody goody,
yeah.
and Cloak grew up on the streets, hung around bad people, and so like they go to the church, and she introduces him just by his name,
Mm,
not like this is my boyfriend. She
mm,
introduces him as this is Ty,
yeah.
and that like totally hurts his feelings. Like he storms out of there and tells her to leave him alone, and we're too different. um and he decides that he wants his powers back. And how they got stripped of their powers was magic stripped them of their powers in limbo. And so he decides he wants to get those powers back. And so gosh, they go to limbo with Professor X and Rogue, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
They get their powers back. I think this issue, Legion makes a cameo appearance because his first appearance is in the
Oh,
next issue. It was a lot. Um, my overall review is I enjoyed it. I really love this stuff that's out there, and New Mutants really is out there. Um, but I really needed to read it again to like give more details. But that's kind of the gist of it. Cloak and Dagger are going through it in their relationship. They get stripped of their powers and ultimately decide they want them back, and they do get them back at the end of the issue, and go back to fighting crime. And yeah, it this first these first like 20-ish or so issues of New Mutants are really good. It
yeah.
starts to kind of get a little wild in the middle, and then
Mm.
towards the end you get into the Cable and Deadpool stuff, and starts to get good again. Look, true story of that. I'm looking at what Rev wrote here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Saying the
Yeah,
Sinkovich stuff
it
is
is.
yeah.
It is, and that's why I really wanted to read it again, and kind of like struggled to get myself back to reading again. So yeah, my review is a little off, but that's kind of the gist of it. I think everybody gets it.
Oh yeah, like I have it. I know I have this book in my collection.
Oh,
I've
really?
so even you just telling me like just even just the basics of it, it's like, oh, okay, now I kind of understand
Yeah.
what this book falls in like the grander.
Well, and it starts to get really, really weird in the next issue with Legion coming in, and the next few issues of that introduction are, it's a lot. It's definitely like
Oh
got to
yeah,
read it over a couple times,
yeah,
maybe even pull up a video on it.
yeah. Uh, this is actually works as a nice little segue because one of the ways we like to kind of wrap up the show is with us going through like the final cutoff orders for comics.
Yeah.
And I see that one of the ones up for order is the Absolute Batman #7
Oh, nice.
Sinkovich cover.
Ooh.
There you go. Uh,
Yeah,
so there's your segue.
that's great.
But because he did the art for that New Mutants book we were just looking at a moment ago, and
Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah.
which is crazy because that book was I have it on I pulled up on CLZ 1984
Yep.
release.
Nice. I was pretty on point.
Sinkovich just has like the craziest career considering he started working on Moon Knight in 1980, and I think he was like younger than 25 years old. I think when he started working on Moon Knight.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
so dude's just had a crazy, crazy. career, uh, and the fact he's still like it's like fine wine, you know.
We're not here today making fun of his current covers.
No, if anything, I can't do anything except praise them
Yeah.
because he's still one of my favorite artists. And anytime I see one of his covers, I'm always like, wow.
I think it's really not to like get back into it,
Mm,
but I initially when these Frank Miller covers started coming out, uh, people need to be real. There was a huge uproar about them and
mhm.
like it wasn't good.
Yeah.
And I didn't have those type of feelings about it per se, but my attitude about it is the same as it is now. Like it's so bad it's good. Like I can't walk away from one of those covers.
Mm,
But the way people have come around to like accepting them in that same way,
yeah.
it's just really funny cuz I think like there was a few people, I don't want to say they were offended by, you know, the video we made because we weren't making, I mean, we were having fun. Like I
Yeah.
said, we're having fun, not making fun.
Yeah.
Again, we're just grateful to still have him. He's still
Yeah.
doing works. He's a legend, you know, no disrespect whatsoever. But I just think it's funny how people want to pretend like they weren't ripping these covers to shreds initially.
Oh, I
Like it's
mean,
a whole thing now, and I get that, but like, come on, let's be real.
oh, I know. It's like it's I mean, art is meant to invoke an emotion, a response, a feeling, uh, and I think when an artist does that in a way where we can acknowledge its flaws, but acknowledge also what the feeling like it is, it gives us a an insight, right, into something we're not familiar with. You know, our eyes are blessed with something they've never been able to see before. So,
Yeah,
uh,
nobody's doing that better than him right now.
yeah. So you know, we do poke fun, but I mean, you know, if you want to poke fun at our show, go for it.
It's all in good fun.
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna step away for 1 second.
Sure. I'll spiel a little bit here for a second
Yeah,
about some of
do,
these books that are coming out.
do your
Uh,
thing.
this Fire and Ice. I don't know if anyone in the chat has ever read a Fire and Ice book. Let me know because I have not. But this might be a nice opportunity to jump in to see what's going on with these two because I've seen their books around for a long time, but I've never actually read anything. And you know what? I mean, this is just a nice looking cover. It's a nice looking cover. Might just pick that one up just for fun. Uh, Zim man. All right, guys, I have to go to work. I'll see y'all next week. Good show. Thanks for the info. He's going to
Yeah,
work. What a
thanks,
champ.
Zim.
What a champ. Get her done.
Yeah, no kidding.
Good luck, bud. Uh, sorry, I was posing the question to the chat. Have you read a Fire and Ice book before?
Nope.
Okay. I think this is going to be my jumping in point.
Huh.
Zim works in security. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. He's keeping people safe, doing the hero work. I see. That's it's a good reason. I'll let it slide. He can leave.
So cool to have like Rev here and John from Paper Chase Comics. They host an occasional live as well,
Mm,
and I'm typically always in their chats for those.
mm,
And Zim is a guy that I've kind of become acquainted with through those,
yeah.
and then obviously we talk on Instagram and we're friends there. But like
Mm.
now to have him in here in our show, it's just like cool to get some of these people that I've interacted with elsewhere in other chats and other lives. So yeah, it's fun. I love this.
It makes it feel like a nice little tight knit community, huh?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Like I've made a lot of friends in the comic book community, but I've got like people I really would consider my friends that are like the ones that are supporting and showing up and doing all those things. Yeah.
Is Spears is the one who's hot right now, right?
Oh yeah. That's an understatement.
Can you explain why or how that's? Because I don't know how that happened or when that happened.
Um I'm going to be honest, and this is going to be a hot take. I'm not the biggest fan.
Okay.
Um so I've kind of not paid much attention to it. Um but somebody recently did an interview with him that I did watch because I kind of had the same question as you. Um who did that? God dang it. Um keep doing your thing and I'll try to think of who that was and I'll shout it out. So,
I just can you hear the music that's playing in the background here?
no.
Okay, because it's just like I could just hear music coming from upstairs. I'm like, "Whoa,"
Oh.
but it
um
looks like
Shoot.
we got some Silverhawk here coming up. Some more issues for anyone interested.
You're not going to give issue 2 a go?
No, unfortunately, I've got too many things going on.
Sure.
Man, I can't believe how many Dynamite variants are coming out on this cutoff order. Like, holy smokes!
Yeah, so I
Twen-
think maybe Spears was like a card artist originally and he was really trying to break into comics and he just wasn't getting any work. And then I think maybe he was saying that Image gave him a shot recently, and just it just blew up from there. Um, Man, I really wish I knew who did that interview. It's possible it was Comic Tropes.
Mm. I
Um,
know, like when the first time I saw his stuff was when McFarlane did the the variants for him. They did four, I think it was A or B covers for 1 month. All the titles of the Spawn series got a Spears
yeah,
variant.
and I got some of those. I don't dislike his work. I just don't necessarily go out of my way to get it.
Mm.
But I definitely got a few of his pieces. He did a Green Lantern war journal
Mm-hmm.
cover,
Yeah.
and I remember having a chance at grabbing it, and my memory told me that I did, and so I went to my box to see if I had, and I had it. Apparently, I'd ended up grabbing the A cover, so I passed on it. So I guess that tells you I'm not. But it had like popped up in a video, and I was like, "Oh, I think I have that one." And now I regret not grabbing it because it was actually a really sick cover of John Stewart.
Oh, oh, interesting.
Yeah, so kind of a bummer on that one.
Um, I have to shout this book out because I think this is going to be a big one. The Battle Beast series that's going to be coming out here. So this is the final order for it. It will come out. Looks like shipping May 14th. Uh, for those who want to jump on the Invincible hype train, this is going to be the book to watch out for. And it doesn't look like it's going to let me pre-order it here, but they are doing an Invincible Universe Battle Beast blind bag. Um,
Oh wow.
and so I'm going to see, give me 2 seconds here. I'm going to see if I can find the post that's regarding that because very intriguing. Let me see here. What was hinted about that one? Ryan Otley said uh, the blind bags will include a chance to get any of the solicited covers from A through I. However, there are rare surprises in that may or may not be related to Battle Beast or the Invincible universe that can be found in these blind bags. Those surprises will not be publicly announced in advance to release of the issue. So, if you're looking for something interesting, uh, if you can get your hands on one of these blind bags, I would strongly recommend you do so, because you have no idea what you might find in there.
I won't have a chance at those. That's for sure.
If I see an extra one, I'll grab you one, bud. But yeah, that's going to be a pretty hype book. I think this coming up.
Rev had a take on the Battle Beast.
Uh, I feel weird because Battle Beast is dead. Well, everyone dies and everything, and they all come back. And
Same reason he didn't watch Titanic.
That's
funny.
One of them lived for a while, right? Speaking of indie books, The Moon is Following Us. Did you ever get a chance to check that one out?
That's not the Kid Cudi one, is it?
No, that's Moon Man.
Moon Man. Okay. No, never.
This is
Not
the
familiar.
Daniel Warren Johnson and Riley Rosmo. That's that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I picked up the first issue of Moon Man.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was even a whole series. That they're like 12 issues in. I just found that out.
Yeah.
I never seen an issue 2 or beyond. So that's really upsetting.
Yeah, I picked up issue 1 as well. I think I got like the B cover for it or something.
Same. Yeah. B cover. Yeah.
And I can't remember if I even read it or not, to be honest. But did you end up giving it a read?
I did, but I don't remember anymore. my information intake for a comic is like solid for about 15 minutes post reading.
That's fair, man. I feel like for me it's until I read the next book and then it's like gone.
Yeah, I'm still working off all the 20 years worth of inhaled spray paint fumes.
Yep. I think we talked about it a little bit last week. I can't remember which character it was. Was it the Thing versus Godzilla or
Dude, I love this cover.
It's so good.
Yeah.
The Wall Crawler versus the King of Monsters.
They found a way to get me back on Spider-Man for sure with that one.
Pre-ordering that for sure. That's a lot of fun. This new Iron Man series looks really interesting, but I never even picked up issue 1 of it.
What are they on now?
Issue 7 looks like it's going to be coming out pretty soon. Did you read Power Man Timeless yet?
I haven't read that yet, but I saw issue 2's coming tomorrow, so I was going to try to give that a read tonight so that I can see if I want that issue 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have to give it a read too.
I probably will. I love Power Man, so.
Yeah, like his intro in Timeless was just like super cool. So I'm going to assume I'm going to get issue 3 there as well and nip that in the bud. Did you read that Legacy of Vader book?
I read, yeah. Dude, I hate Kylo Ren like as a character, but I'm gonna give this. Maybe they can make me like him. I'm gonna give the series a chance. He's such a whiny little bitch, dude.
He is a whiny little. He really is. I have the other one. So these covers, have you seen these ones?
No.
Oh, I swear I have one of them somewhere in close proximity to me right now, but maybe I don't. They did one for the West Coast Avengers that started up recently, and then they did one for the Deadpool and Wolverine that came out recently.
Okay.
I just think these are so clever and so just kind of different. I don't know. I love these kind of covers. Samrock says, "Looks like a child drew it." I think that's kind of the point, right? Like it's kind of like,
man, comics are so funny and all the difference in opinions.
Yeah, I don't know. I love the way that cover looks, but that's just me.
Yeah.
So I've got that one pre-ordered here. I think I did just did. No, going to do it now. But oh, I didn't even realize what book was Superior Avengers. These ain't your daddy's Avengers. Okay.
Uh,
uh, oh, that'll be something to check out, I suppose. Some more One World Under Doom stuff. Um, have you read Ultimate Wolverine yet at all?
no, I slept on that.
You sleeping on Ultimate Wolverine? Damn.
I saw someone locally had like a stack of issue ones that he was selling
Mm.
for like $40 each. So I
Of the
mean,
Ultimate Wolverine?
yeah,
Jeez.
yeah.
Jeez Louise.
I don't know. Hopefully, this all comes in some type of compendium because I don't even I think I've even fallen off of Ultimate Spider-Man at this point.
Fair. Sorry, this cover it goes unnecessarily hard.
Yeah,
Uh, Daniel Warren Johnson knocked it out of the park with this one.
yeah.
Uh,
That's sick. What book is that?
that's for Wolverine #8, Legacy
Okay.
#400. Uh,
Wow.
dude, that yeah, that's I love when a cover can leave me speechless like that.
Yeah.
Because that's just crazy. Oh man, I'm
Not an
really
incentive either, huh?
no, just one of the open order covers. So guys, talk to your local comic book store. Get this pre-ordered because come on,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Uh, mm, man, I love a good Wolverine cover.
Oh yeah. I always like when Kevin Eastman's done some Wolverine covers.
Hmm.
I love it when Kevin Eastman does anything that's like out of his norm.
Oh yeah, and every now and then you do see something, eh? Not very often, but
Yeah, it's pretty rare. He's done a handful of Wolverine,
mm.
and I've got all of them. I don't know what I couldn't tell you what else, but he's definitely done some. Or like when Stan Sakai did Venom
Oh yeah,
in his style.
yeah.
Most people don't like it, but
I like his stuff.
that guy can do no wrong in my eyes.
Uh, hold on, I gotta find a book real quick. Give me 2 seconds.
Yep.
Oh, there's this other one. Actually, kind of funny enough. Here's that West Coast Avengers one I was talking about
Oh yeah. Okay.
with the Iron Man standing there checking it out, which I thought was kind of funny. Oh, there we go.
Samrock has a signed Kevin Eastman Wolverine cover.
So I picked you up another book. I'm sorry, uh, but I'll show you it first to make sure you don't have it and you didn't pick it up maybe on your own as well. Uh, did you get this one?
Um.
It just
Oh,
came
did
out
I?
like 2 weeks ago.
I will have to check.
Okay,
I
it
think
is.
I might have, or I'm not sure actually.
I know it's a B cover. I think. Anyways, I
Is
saw it.
it Peach Momoko and Stan Sakai like collaborated on it, or it's just a Peach Momoko?
No, I don't even think this is Peach Momoko.
Oh,
I'm not sure who the artist on this one is, to be totally honest with you.
hey, was it? Sorry to change the subject. Was
Yeah.
Sam the one telling us about the red platinums?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so Sam, were you in here at the beginning of the show?
He was here half an hour before the show started.
Yeah, but I don't know if he
Yeah,
caught
he
the
was.
thing.
Yeah, he was here. I see him. He was talking about the MF Doom stuff, so he would have been here off the top. So,
Okay, so he saw.
yeah. Is this
Oh
one?
wow. Okay.
This is a homage, right? To
Well, Wolverine, whatever. First
with
Deadpool and Wolverine
Hipster,
battle.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Because I
can
saw that.
barely even tell what that is, but I just the shape of it. I know that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was the Wolverine from this most recent week as well. But I saw it and I was like, it doesn't say it's a homage, but
Which is okay. So it's really funny.
mm,
Uh, that issue is like such a highly sought after, very expensive book.
mm,
Um, but like the artist that drew the interiors, like completely ripped off other people. Not that book, but the
no,
actual,
yeah, yeah.
the one it's paying homage to,
Mhm.
completely ripped off like other artists' work. Like
Ooh,
the whole issue is like essentially like
plagiarism.
pretty much
Oh,
like as far as the artist, the like the poses and stuff, like again, another shout out to cartoonist kayfabe. They completely break it down and like compare clips to where they were stolen from, and it's just like it's terrible. It's kind of crazy that the book has such a high value, with that being kind of what it's known for.
that's how I feel about anything with Greg Land.
Yeah, yeah.
Those who get it will get it. Uh, and sorry, I need to find this one too because
Oh
it was
wow.
also bugging me that I couldn't remember what it was. Uh, that one's cute because it's got the little Wolverine scratch on the face, but
Yeah.
uh, I'm jealous. I was trying to get that Stefan Flat. Is that?
Stephen Platt. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that was the one I was just looking at, right? The Wolverine one.
yeah,
Yeah, that one.
yeah.
Which is
So you can see that I'm not just over here being a crybaby about our LCS. That it's a common thing.
which is funny because I don't even think my shop had any main covers of this book on the shelf. It was just these variants because I think they
Oh
knew
wow.
it would be the one that people wanted.
You know what's funny is because my RLCS was Clayton Crane's
Mm, yeah,
childhood LCS.
yeah.
Anytime he's got a cover coming out, guaranteed at least 20 of them on the counter.
Mm.
So he's been doing some great stuff lately. So I'm not complaining about that. It's just wish there'd be 20 of other things too.
Need some Momokos on the shelf.
Yeah.
Which I missed out on a couple Momokos this week. They were too hot. They're too hot. The kimono.
Oh, you didn't get all five. You just
I
got
didn't get all
three.
five. I only got three of them.
Yeah. Uh,
It's first world problems.
seriously.
All right. I think that's a nice spot to kind of wrap it up with, if that's all right with you, my friend.
Yeah. Great show.
Yeah. Uh, it sounds like we're going to be trying to get some more guests coming on in the coming weeks. It sounds like maybe that might be what we're feeling out. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
having X on yesterday or last week was a little chaotic, but I kind of lived for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was yeah. I would have expected it to go no other way, honestly. I love that guy.
Yeah.
Again, huge inspiration to us, and just kind of like, brought us all together. Um, he's our boy forever. I remember at one time we kind of humored the idea of bringing like in a person or two into our group chat.
Hmm.
I think probably never. you know.
No, no.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm really happy it worked out that we were able to get him as our first guest, because that was kind of the goal. But we also said, like, if we're not able to, we'll have to move on from that at some point. And it wasn't hard at all. He's a busy guy, but he made time for us, and yeah, that meant a lot to me for sure. And dude, the guy really can talk about the MCU. Like, he's got something there. I
Yeah.
don't care for it, and I don't really want to talk about it often,
Mm.
but he should. Like, I was kind of sitting there in awe most of the time at, like, you know, the just what he was saying about the stuff, like way more knowledgeable about that stuff than me for sure. So, yeah.
It was a nice little break from all the
It
kind of
was. And I'm yeah,
yeah.
I did enjoy it, and I'll love to do it again, just not all the time.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. So
stubborn.
if you want to see our super hot takes on the MCU, watch last episode because there were some there were some hot takes.
Yeah,
Um,
and I want to say hey to Derek before we cut out of here.
Millions of peaches, peaches for me. That I should get that tattooed on my forehead or a bumper sticker. But yeah, uh, great show. Okay, thanks
Yeah.
everyone for swinging by and spending the evening hanging out with us and talking comic books and talking action figures and so we talked a lot of indie stuff. Yeah, it was just a great day for comics. Great day to talk about comics. And yeah, thank you guys for joining us. And
All
thank you,
right.
buddy. All
See you
right.
guys.
See ya. Bye bye.